Hello, everyone. This is Jeff from Coach's Call, and welcome to my MMA podcast. This is called Puff's Corner, and I am very blessed with this opportunity because I love the UFC and I love it. I bet every weekend. If you're in the Discord, you know I love UFC and I normally do pretty good at it. So I figured, why not? Let's talk about the fights. Let's break them down. Let's get in depth. First of all, check out coachcall.com. Check out the store that we got. Buy some merch. Check it out. Subscribe to the YouTube. Check out the TikTok. All that. So let's get into it here. Let's just jump right in because we got a lot to get into. Volk, you see the flag. Let's go. Aussie Nation, stand up. First fight, let's get into it. Bruno Silva, 23-9 versus Shabutin Magomedov. This fight is going to be fireworks. Both these guys just stand and bang. That's all they do. Um, both of them, they don't really go to the ground that much. There's a lot of gas tank that's going to be blown this first round. Magomedov, 7 first round finishes of his 11 wins. Silva, he's been around for a while, and he's never been finished by KO, TKO ever. So it's very interesting. He went the distance with Pereira, Alex Pereira, the guy that beat Izzy, yeah. That was his only decision loss, too. This is Magomedov's first UFC fight. He has a pretty decent, solid resume. Um, one of his 11 fights went to decision. So, from what I'm getting out of this, the output is going to be there at the beginning of the fight, and there's going to be an early finish. I know Silva's never been finished, but this Magomedov guy, from what I've seen, the film I watched, he just goes for it. Like it's either he gets knocked out or he's going to knock you out in the first round. But this is where I see that you can get really good value on Silva at plus 235. So I wouldn't be surprised if Silva won this fight. I might throw a little bit on him, but my main play for this fight is under 1.5 because I think there's no way that this fight even makes it to the second round. So I'm gonna take the extra point 0.5 cushion. So I'm gonna take that under 1.5 because both of them combined, they got 21 first round finishes. So what makes you think that it's not gonna happen again here? All right. So moving on. Next fight, we got Jinyu Fry. She's 11-9 against Victoria Dudakova. This fight, women's MMA is really hard to cap because it just doesn't. The MMA math doesn't add up half the time. It's like you're throwing darts sometimes. But I can go off the film I see and what I see out of them. Jinyu Fry, she's on 3-fight losing streak. Dudakova is a pretty heavy favorite in this fight. This is her last shot to save her career. Jinyu Fry, she's had a really rough career in the UFC. They want her gone evidently because Dudakova is probably one of the worst matchups that you could throw her. It's like a style matchup. Jinyu Fry, striker, kind of, not really. I don't even know how to explain it. She's just there. Dudakova, a really strong grappler wrestler. She could be the future of women's MMA. I'm not gonna lie. She's only 25 and she has so much talent on the ground and with her pressure that she puts out and her output that I think she'll be able to get a sub or she'll grind out a decision. I think this will be like your typical women's MMA fight where they lay up against the cage and they don't really push for a finish. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dudakova got the sub. But yeah, I don't really bet women's MMA that much. I try to stay away because it's so unpredictable. Next fight, Nathaniel Wood, 19-5 against Muhammad Naimov. Now, this fight right here is very intriguing to me. Nathaniel Wood, I guess you can call him a vet at this point. He had 9 fights in UFC, 7-2. He's on a 3-fight win streak against Muhammad Naimov. He's a newcomer to the UFC. His first fight, he beat my Aussie, Jamie Malarkey. But in that fight, I saw a lot of openings that if Malarkey was a grappler, where he could took advantage of Naimov giving up his back on the like when they're standing up, he'd always get up against the cage and get up his back very easily. If you do that against Nathaniel Wood, he will take your back so quick and he will have you on the ground in the rear naked choke just like that. Now look at the striking. Naimov caught Malarkey when he was coming in because Malarkey got overconfident. I think Nathaniel Wood is going to look at that fight and he's going to realize, hey, I can't do that against this guy or else I'll get put to sleep too. I think all around Nathaniel Wood is the better fighter. Um, so in this fight, I think I'm gonna bet Wood by KO or sub is plus 200. Or you could be safe. You could be safe and take the fight to not go the distance at plus 100, which I like that a lot. So I'm probably gonna play that for about 3-4 units. I like that fight a lot. Moving on, we got Anshul Jubilee 7-0 against Mike Breeden 10-6. So I got a nickname for Anshul Jubilee. I call him the Indian Khabib. Rinse and repeat, great grappling, great ground strikes. That's all he does. I mean, I've watch his fights. He's just so gritty. He'll shoot you up against cage, get you against cage, shoot double legs, single legs, get you to the ground. But he's not like these other grapplers where they'll just lay on you. And that's what I like about this kid is that he he tries to advance position and get to a point where he's looking for a finish, whether it's a sub, whether it's ground and pound. His ground and pound is nasty. We saw in his last fight where he finished the dude. Dude gave up his back and he just went to town on him. Mike Breeden, he shows so many holes in his game. Like he's just not. I don't think he's good. I think this is his last fight in UFC. Also, they're setting up this Jubilee kid to get noticed. I think with this on this card. The sub for Jubilee is plus 450, which is kind of confusing to me because I like Breeden a lot. I think he is not Breeden, sorry. I like Jubilee a lot. I think Breeden is going to give up his back eventually in this fight, and I think Jubilee will get the sub plus 450. But my main play will be Jubilee by sub or decision because either way, he's going to take him to the ground, and if he doesn't get the sub, he'll get the decision. So that's minus 105. I'll probably put a decent amount on that. Next fight, we got Cedricus Dumas 8-1 against Abu Azaitar. So I look into this fight, and this is a great opportunity to catch a dog, because Dumas, his last fight, he fought Cody Durden. In that fight, Dumas he showed up the fight. He showed up the fight, but Cody Durden did not show up the fight. It was like Durden he basically said, "Here you go, Cedricus. Take the fight. You got it. I'm not gonna do anything." It was rough to watch because I ain't gonna lie, I bet Cody Durden in that fight. But he left so many opportunities where Dumas took advantage of, which more credit to him. Dumas is the bigger guy in this fight. But he got his hands full with the Zaitar. I'm not gonna lie. His clinch work, Zaitar's clinch work is going to be the X factor in this fight. If he can get in, make this grindy, take over, and then just make it a gritty fight up against the cage, I think that he'll be able to put Cedricus Dumas to sleep. If not, I think Dumas could get the finish. My play for this is under 1.5. I think this fight's going to be over quicker than we expect, just because of the size of Dumas and the power of a Zaitar. I think it could go either way. But I'm going to take a Zaitar based off experience and his pressure that he puts up. But my main play is under 1.5 for this. Then the next fight, we have Javid Basharat 14-0 against Victor Henry 23-6. Man, Javid Basharat, don't even get me started. I think he could be a future champ. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I watch him fight every time. Like, don't get him confused with his brother. A lot of people get him confused with his brother. But Javid is the man. Like his striking, his grappling, he's an all around solid fighter. I think that this fight, they're throwing him Victor Henry because they're trying to get him ready for the next level of competition. We've seen what he can do. We're just trying to make sure that he's for real. And I think that this fight, they set him up to show that he is for real. I'm going to take Basharat by finish because I think he finishes Victor Henry. I know that Henry has never been finished, like, ever. But I think that finish at plus 225 is a great value bet for the caliber of fighter Basharat is. I think he's easily going to be top 5 by next year. I think that if he keeps active, keeps fighting, I think Javid Basharat is the future of the UFC. And I really believe that. So then we got Muhammad Yahya. 12-3 against Trevor Peek. Trevor Peek arguably might be the most crazy man in the UFC next to Sean Strickland. This dude, I've never seen him do this. His last fight, he took so much damage, and he was just there, and he just keeps on coming forward. Boom, 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 boom. Keeps his hands moving, feet moving, like no guard, just getting punched in the face. His last fight was one that the fans loved, but like if you're like any type of striking coach or like MMA coach, you're like, damn, this is bad for the sport because these guys, it was so like low level, but it's like one of them fights that everybody loves because they just beat the shit out of each other. Um, but I don't think Yahya is going to feed into that. I think Muhammad is going to take him down, and he's going to be able to grind this fight out on the ground. I don't think Peak will be able to get up. I think Yahya's pressure and just the way he fights, he's going to make it grindy against the cage. I think Yahya's great value for a dog. He's plus 140 in the fight. So I will take Yahya for that fight at plus 140 all day. Just because Trevor Peak, he gassed out after his last fight. Is like he got to the first round, he's dead. So Yahya survives that first round. I think easily he could win. He could win this fight and just grind out a decision. Which that's why I think I'm probably gonna bet him by decision, or I'm gonna take him straight too for a decent amount. I'm gonna do a little bit of him by decision. Moving on, Tim Elliott, 19-12-1 against Muhammad Makachev, 9-0-0. So Makachev, let's talk about Muhammad Makachev. It's one of them fighters where it's either you love him or you hate him. Like he could be a dickhead. Like I ain't even gonna lie. But for me, keeping all my bias out, Makachev is a very solid fighter. Tim Elliott, he's been in the game for a while. Known for his gas tank, he can make it through rounds deep in the fights. I love watching Tim Elliott fight because his footwork, the way he fights, everything. It's just he's just a smooth fighter. Although he's a shitty person in general, but let's throw that away. We're fighting. But Tim Elliott, gas tank, really good. But he struggles a lot against really good grapplers. And that's where I think Makachev separates himself from everybody else in this division, is that he's so talented with his pressure, his top control, and everything that Tim Elliott's going to have such a hard time in this fight. I think that Makachev will grind out a decision. I don't think he'll get a sub though. I think if he does, it'll be late in the fight because that's where Makachev works his magic. He normally gets his finishes in like the end of the second towards the third round. So for this fight, I really like over 2.5. It's minus 166, so you're gonna be laying a little juice, but it's a decent parlay piece. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but yeah, so I think this fight could go a distance. I think it does go a distance. I don't expect Makachev to be able to choke him out, because he doesn't really go for finishes that much. We've seen that a lot in his previous fights. He just likes to get the decision, grind the guy out, make him look stupid, and then move on with his night. Um, so then we got Saeed Nurmagomedov, 17-3 against Muin Gafarov, 18-5. Nurmagomedov, solid fighter. Ah man, but his last fight, he just didn't look good. He struggled a lot. He struggled a lot. Gafarov is a solid fighter. The only problem is that he struggles when he is getting pressured and when he's on his back. And Saeed goes for takedowns, and he uses his pressure to win his fights. So for me, I look at where they're fighting. We're in Dubai this weekend. So the way I look at this is, who are they going to give the fight to if it comes to the decision and it's close? They're going to give it to Nurmagomedov because you're basically fighting in his home, pretty much. Not in his home, but everybody's going to give that fight to him. Um, I don't like this fight at all. I like it to go a distance. I think that it will go a distance. But the Dubai script is telling me that Nurmagomedov's going to win this fight. So I'm probably going to take Nurmagomedov just because of the name. I know that sounds messed up and crazy, but I don't know. I don't think he loses again back to back, especially with Khabib going to be there. Hasbulla going to be in the crowd. It's going to be a good time out there. So moving on, we got Ikram Aliskerov, 14-1 against Warley Alves, 15-6. Aliskerov is minus 600 in this fight. UFC, we gotta do better when we make these main cards. There's no way that there should ever be a -600 on a main card ever when you're doing a big fight card like this. Like, it's just insane. Aliskerov's only loss was to Hamzat. He's really good wins over Dennis Tiulinan and Phil Hawes. Dennis Tiulinan is a monster, and Phil Hawes is a monster. Both of them, you could arguably say, are better than Warley Alves. So UFC, why are we making this fight? But another thing is this could be very similar. This could be very similar to the Basharat fight and the Dudakova fight, where they're trying to show them these guys. They're trying to show them a little bit before they get thrown into the wolves against these ranked opponents before they get that ranking next to their name. So I think that this fight will be over quick. Aliskerov is going to make quick work of him, and then he's going to call someone out in the top 10, and there he goes. He's going to get thrown in there. I think he has so much talent, though. Like, he's all around a great fighter, and I cannot wait to see where he goes with his career. So next, Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. Ankalaev, 18-1-1. Johnny Walker, 21-7. This is a great spot to catch Ankalaev by KO. I'm not going to lie. Johnny Walker, his last 3 fights were all against grapplers. Paul Craig, Ian Cutelaba, and who's the last guy he fought? Anthony Smith. They're all grapplers who are washed. Johnny Walker has shown many times that his chin is cracked. Like, he can only take so much more before he's done. He got barely touched by Jamal Hill and got put to sleep. Ankalaev arguably has more power, if not the same amount as Jamal Hill. Ankalaev by KO is the play. He got 9 of his 18 wins by KO. Half his wins are by KO. So there's no way that I don't think Ankalaev gets this KO. I think that I might go big on that, to be honest. Now, watch. I hope Johnny Walker shuts me up because I want to see him knock him out and do the little worm thing he does. But my money's going to be on Ankalaev by KO. Next fight. Oh, my God. I'm so tired of hearing about Usman and Chimaev. I hate them both. Usman, 20-3. Chimaev, 12-0. Chimaev is an easy parlay piece this week. You could throw him in there with someone else, and you can get, if you can throw him in there with anybody else, Chimaev's like, I'd almost guarantee it. Like, there's nothing guaranteed in fighting, but at 185, man, Usman's coming up. His knees are shot. His last fight, he can't even walk on a sidewalk. Usman legitimately can't walk on a sidewalk. Like, he has to backpedal on a sidewalk to walk, and he has to walk in grass. So, like, how are you still fighting with your knees shot like that? So I think Chimaev is I think he finishes Usman, to be honest. It's going to feel weird seeing Usman up there like that, though. I'm not going to lie. I want to see the hype train get stopped with Chimaev. I want to see that Chimaev-Bo Nickel fight in the future. I think that'd be a beautiful fight that everybody wants to see because those guys would go at it. It'd be your classic Russian wrestling versus American wrestling. I think USA would win. But Chimaev, I think he knocks out Usman. To be honest, I think that he's not going to want to take it to the ground because why would he do that when he could strike with him? I wouldn't be surprised if he did, though. But I think Chimaev will get the KO. He's going to watch that Leon fight, look over what Leon did. He's going to try and mimic that. And I think his striking and his power will be able to really be shown here at 185. So then we move on to the homeland. Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makachev. Man, breaking this fight down. Wow. Let's talk about it. Last fight, you could arguably say Volk won. I think he won, but I'm biased. I can never go against the homeland. So I can't go against the homeland. I think that Volkanovski learned a lot in that last fight that he was able to implement. I know he doesn't. He's coming in short notice, but there's one thing about Volk and these Aussies is that They train all the time. They constantly are in the gym all the time. Izzy took a break because he needed to. He was active. He was fighting all the time. He was fighting every probably like 3 4 months. You can't do that MMA. Volk, he's the man. He can do it. I love Volk in this fight. I think it's a great opportunity for him to show that that last fight he won, and he's gonna show it again that he's gonna win this one. I think that he's gonna be able to defend the takedowns, and I'd love to see him get that finish. Because we gotta remember when we get past that third round, Volk's been there. He loves them deep waters. You saw last time Islam faded out. If he fades out again, I think Volk will be able to take him there in them deep waters. I think he gets the leg kicks rolling early this time. Last time he struggled with find his range because he's a little bit smaller. He struggled to find his range. So he got the leg kicks rolling. He's gonna get them rolling earlier this time. He's gonna struggle with Islam being able to get them takedowns. I think Volk will be able to keep this fight standing and use his striking to his advantage in this fight. So give me Volk plus 200. I love that. So let's talk about the future though of MMA. What do we got? John Jones. John Jones fighting one more time, gonna retire. Who's gonna take over the heavyweight division? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to get a little bit because I don't know. Tom Aspinall, Derek Lewis looked good his last fight. He slimmed down. I love that. I love that he slimmed down. Jelatin Almeida. How about that? Let's talk about him. No, but Colby Covington, Leon Edwards coming up. That's gonna be a great fight. There's a lot of good fights. O'Malley taking over. Um, UFC, man, best sport on this planet. But that's it. That's all I got for Puff's Corner. Um, like I said, check out the Discord. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Show love at coachcall.com. Make sure you join Discord because we always post our plays in there and everything. Hope you guys enjoyed the UFC breakdown. Went through all the fights, gave you what I'm playing, and hopefully you guys check out the Discord and show love. So Puffs out. Thank you. Go Aussies. Let's have a good week.